Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuff and things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
And good morning. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn. You may remember Griffin. He used to work here, and then he got that summer vacation thing. I don't know, it was like a semester abroad or something? Was that?
Yeah, basically.
Is that the way that we did it? I mean, good for you, but he's back.
Guess I didn't really go abroad or anything.
I don't understand what happened. You do your semester abroad in I'm trying to think of Paris, Texas?
No, it wasn't Paris, Texas.
Manchester, Maryland
There
might be
it is.
where it
There it
was.
is.
There's a Dublin up in Hartford County. It could have been there. Yeah, Griffin's back, and breaking news whenever it feels like breaking. Shout out Josh Spiegel. I'm now actually going to go away again. I've decided.
Yes.
Yeah, I've decided that I'm going to go away again. Although I think I'm going to do the show. I'm working on the details,
Okay.
but I think I'm going to do the
This is
show.
news to me.
It's news to everybody.
Okay.
It's news to everyone. I'm breaking news whenever it feels like breaking. I'm going to go to Las Vegas this weekend,
Sweet.
and I'm going to go see. I've never been to the Sphere,
Ah.
and I'm going to go to the Sphere and see the mother effing Backstreet Boys, and I am so excited about it. But I think I'm going to stick around for a couple of days and do the show from the Circa next week for at least a few. I haven't nailed down all of the plans, but we're going to figure all that out. And I'm excited about it. We might bump the show back an hour. We might do like 11 to 1 because, it will be very early in the morning on the West Coast. So I'm just working on all that. No, I want it as much as possible on the right side. Like, there's still room. I know Trevor Rogers is probably going to get 100 of them before the season is over, but for now, we can put the fourth one over there. So yeah, we'll do a few days together, and then that'll be plenty. I'll be plenty sick of Griffin by that point. So I'll head out on the road again, and we'll make it happen. But in the meantime, lots to do this week. Today, Ryan Ripken's going to join us. It's Monday, so Jeremy Conn will check in with us. I want to react to the comments that Mike Elias made on MLB Network Radio, so we'll do that at some point this morning as well. Stuff and things, you know how it goes. Today's show brought to you by Game Day Men's Health in Columbia, Owings Mills, and Frederick. And I continue to tell you that I've been taking peptides, and they have been very beneficial to me. And just that early morning feeling, that thing that you normally go through as a man of a certain age, you've made the noises, you know them. You're very familiar with them. I'm not making them. I played Sunday night tennis last night. And this morning, I didn't wake up making noises and going through an entire production. I just got up and got on with my day, which was really, really nice. I would encourage you, if you're a man of a certain age and you're struggling with any number of things, you feel run down, you're worried you might be low T, you can get a complimentary testosterone test. You're dealing with erectile dysfunction, the type of stuff that you don't really want to talk about with your buddies. You don't want to go to the bar on a Friday night and be like, hey, guys, I got a wacky one for you. Oh, you got a story about your boss, huh? Well, wait till you hear my story. it's just not the type of thing you want to do. You need a safe space for that, and that's what Game Day Men's Health is. GameDayMen'sHealth.com is the website. You can give them a call, Game Day Men's Health in Owings Mills, 443-264-4454. Game Day Men's Health in Frederick, if you're headed out west, 240-931-3717. Or down in Columbia, give them a call, 443-266-3505. Trevor Rogers will go up on the board. I thought maybe if they got swept this weekend that would be a good excuse to tear the board down.
So we'll have to let them get swept back-to-back series this week then.
Well, they don't have to get swept. I think a 1-5 week would do it. I think
they play all 7 days this week, I believe.
We play 7 games?
Yes. But they play the Rockies this weekend, so that will...
You pretend like that means that they couldn't possibly lose those
games. The Rockies
games.
are very
I
bad
understand.
At baseball. The Orioles
Griffin.
are bad at baseball.
Don't get me wrong.
The Rockies are very
I'm quite
bad
aware. But suggesting that means that that's right, we needed an Alex Jackson picture.
Just an update. Yeah.
Yeah,
You didn't like the I liked the picture.
It was something. It was something. It allowed me to decide to leave the pictures up for the week so that we could deal with it when you get back. That was the decision that I made. There were no games to be played, so why not? So, yeah. By the way, Trevor Rogers is the MVP of the team. That's the size of his picture. Alex Jackson.
Well, I didn't think Trevor Rogers was going to be MVP of the team.
Anyway.
Back in
Trevor
May.
Rogers, as he said, I don't think that he was brilliant yesterday. I don't think his stuff was electric, but he got the job done. And... bully for him for continuing to get the job done, but that's about all it is that I can say about the Orioles from the weekend. Is good for Trevor Rogers. He got the job done. It's not the end of the world because I don't know why you would still have expectations. The Orioles lost 2 out of 3 in Tampa, and that's about right. They're a bad baseball team. It's this weird thing where it keeps feeling like there are people that believe that somehow this ship could be righted at some point. There's way too much evidence, and there has been for some time, to believe that was likely to be the case. That we oversold the idea of how things changed when the manager was replaced. There was a stretch of 3 weeks where the Orioles were slightly above 500, and we said to ourselves, look, and the truth was the bar was just so low that anything that appeared competent was going to look like a turnaround of some sort. But at no point did they look like a good baseball team. They looked like a team like every other, save for maybe this year's Colorado Rockies. Bad baseball teams have stretches where they win games. That happens constantly. This is a bad baseball team. And I don't say it to pile on. It's just one of those, facts. You don't get to change it because it's a bummer. It's just the reality of what the Orioles are. They're not good. There was never a doubt. I saw a lot of people this weekend. I'll tell 2 stories. One, I happened to have a meeting last week with another media entity, and I don't know how it came up, but this entity was like, well, what we're talking about today is blank. They're not a sports media entity. It's a different, what we're talking about today is blank. I guess what you would be talking about today is, and this is someone who I think is sharp and knows what's going on. He said, you're probably talking about whether the Orioles are going to trade Cedric Mullins. And I just kind of laughed. And I was like, that's not a topic. The Orioles are definitely trading Cedric Mullins. That's been obvious for some time. We're talking about whether or not they're going to trade Felix Bautista because that is a topic. That is interesting. I saw this a lot this weekend where people were saying, well, that's it. This certifies it. They're going to have to trade their pending free agents. And I'm like, what do you think happened this weekend? That's been decided for weeks. It was going to require something unbelievable to not trade the pending free agents. The pending free agents have been gone for some time, as long as you can trade them. I guess somebody might be willing to take a stab at Gregory Soto, I guess, but I don't know that.
You can get a strikeout.
Yeah.
One an outing.
I don't know if you're going to be able to trade Gary Sanchez because, like, he's hurt. And I don't know that you can trade Gary Sanchez. As I've said before, I think that now at this point I'm actually leaning towards the idea that they're going to hold on to Zach Eflin because you can't really get anything for him, and you could extend him the qualifying offer and either hope that if he takes it, he looks like the good Zach Eflin next year, or that he doesn't take it and you can get a compensatory pick for him, and that's probably more valuable than what you're going to get for him at the deadline at this point. But, like, they're not this is what makes this conversation uncomfortable. Let me go ahead. I just sent this to you on Twitter. Mike Elias appeared on MLB Network Radio this weekend, and as you would expect, was asked about the trade deadline and what the I assume the question was framed in, are you guys still thinking about whether you're going to be buyers or sellers, which is kind of hilarious. I guess that's like...
They talking and we're...
Mike, chill. Just chill for a second. I'll get to you, I promise. I guess that's how you kind of have to ask it. Like, you don't want to be presumptuous, but, I mean, come on. Like, what the hell would they be doing? I know a month ago we talked about, like, maybe there's a world in which they could go both ways and they could do a little buying. And I don't know if there was some scenario where that still existed where, you know, we've used Sandy Alcantara's name a few times, but someone like that you could buy with control, I guess you could do that, but...
Mitch Keller's another one that would be fun, I guess. Like,
I guess you could try to do that, but it seems wildly unlikely. So Michael Elias was asked that question. Here was Michael Elias' answer this week on an MLB Network Radio.
Well, stand here today talking, and we're 11 games under 500. It's been a huge disappointment. I mean, I've talked about it the last couple of weeks. None of us wanted to be here, expected to be here. There's a number of reasons for it, and we're taking account of how we got here. But the reality is, when we're at that point in the standings and 11 days away from the trade deadline, you know, we've got to be realistic about our situation. And the conversations that I'm having right now are more oriented towards seeing what's out there for some of our available major league players. And, you know, we're not blowing up the team. And we think we're going to be very good again in 2026 and have that intention. And, you know, we're not interested in changing the foundation of the team, but to the degree that we have players that interest other guys or other clubs that are coming towards the end of their contract, we got to listen to that. So that's what we're spending our time on. You know, you talk about everything, you listen to everything, you explore opportunities, but we're trending in that direction right now, and it's not what we want to be doing.
So there you go. Some people would say, well, there you have it. That's confirmation. The Orioles are going to trade. Look, again, we've known they were going to trade their pending free agents. I'm writing today about a certain part of those comments, and you'll be able to read it at PressBoxOnline.com. What I'm writing about is the part where it says, we think we're going to be very good again in 2026 and have that intention. And it's a twofold consideration. Because the first part is, again, has Mike Elias earned that right to be a part of that? Should Mike Elias be having the say in their plans for 2026? The way he's talking, and given that he just led another draft, like, you would think that means that Mike Elias is the guy and will be making decisions moving forward. But I guess we still need that confirmation at the end of the year. As I said before, this is not something you normally do in season, albeit we just saw the Nationals do it. So if you had decided that you needed to go a different way, then you certainly could have. we think we're going to be very good again in 2026 and have that intention. And my follow-up question is, because that would rule out the idea of trading away Felix Bautista. It would probably rule out trading away Dean Kramer, who had another great start on Saturday and has been largely really good over the last month and a half to 2 months. But my question is, what does that mean? We think we're going to be very good again in 2026, and we have that intention. Does that mean we think we had bad luck this year from an injury standpoint, from guys taking a step back, and we think that's going to work itself out next year, and Adley's going to be better, and Gunner's going to be better, and we're going to have some better health, and, gee gosh golly, that'll be just good enough? Or does it mean that we're hell-bent on being better in 2026? Because, again, this is the part. A year ago, at this time, you were close to being a championship contender, but you weren't willing to do what was necessary to close the gap. Now, you're not close. The gap this past offseason seemed to be a couple of pieces. Now, if you had done that and you had gone through this spat of injuries, I don't know if it would have worked out, but you didn't do that. You didn't try to close the gap. But the gap is significantly larger now. You're much further away from championship contention. And it's not just injuries, no matter how many times various folks within this organization harp on the injuries. The injuries are a part of the story, but not, I wouldn't even say 50% of the story. I don't know what the percentage would be. It's a combination of three things: a failed offseason, injuries, and
underperformance.
Yeah, regression, or at least stagnation. Somewhere between those two things. Adley Rutschman, I guess it's more stagnation because he was really bad in the second half last year, but a prolonged regression for Adley Rutschman, regression from Gunnar Henderson, stagnation from Colton Cowser. It's unfair to say stagnation from Jordan Westberg, but he's not gotten better. He's not gone from really good player to superstar this year. I just don't know that he is a superstar. I think he's a good to really good player. Jackson Holliday is the only one that you could say has made some slight, but it's kind of slight, right? It's one of those things where the bar was low, and there have been stretches where Jackson Holliday's looked really good, and so we've sold ourselves on, well, Jackson Holliday's becoming a star. But if you actually looked at the totality of what he's done this year, it's nowhere close to star. It's just trending in the right direction.
By virtue of not even being able to get on the field, Grayson Rodriguez has
regressed. Well, it's getting worse, right? Because it's always something, right? You have this, you get more bad news about Grayson Rodriguez this weekend, and you just sort of say to yourself, how do you ever pencil in Grayson Rodriguez as part of the solution? Are you hell-bent? Is it, my God, we screwed up, and we are going to correct that big time? Because right now, you need health. You need progression from all of those guys. You need a better version of Adley Rutschman, a better version of Gunnar Henderson, a better version of Jackson Holliday, a better version of Colton Cowser. Boop, better version of Kobe Mayo, better version of whoever.
Heston, yeah.
All of these guys, and you still need more. You still need
a pitcher.
Not a pitcher, not one. Oh, I wish it was one. You need multiple top half of the rotation guys, with one needing to be a viable ace. You want to pencil in Kyle Bradish, okay, but there's an awful lot of you have no idea there. I hope Trevor Rogers is this guy, but at best I'm giving Trevor Rogers, I would say today I'd pencil him as like a number 2 or 3. No, 2 is too far.
Yeah.
A number 3 guy in a rotation. If this continues, you still need more leverage bullpen arms. You are dramatically far away from contending in 2026 to win a World Series. Dramatically. And I'm not, again, this isn't me just trying to be an a-hole. It's the reality of the circumstances.
You don't have to try to do that. Yeah.
Right, I know. I can do that quite well. So when you say those words, we think we're going to be very good again in 2026 and have that intention, what are you saying? Because if what you're saying is, we effed up, this always should have been get the young core together and then go all in to win, and we didn't do that and we failed. And so now we're going to do that. Then I'm listening. You got a lot of work to do. A lot. And you are competing against a lot of other teams that want to get better this offseason. But if that's where your head's at, is like, we're going to do whatever is necessary because that's what we've got to do, then I'm listening. And again, you should only be trading away your pending free agents then. But if the answer is the former, if it's just, well, we think we've gotten unlucky this year, and with a little more luck next year, this group would be better. If that's the plan, if that's the, let's just hope it's better, make another stealth move.
Another Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah. If that's the thought process, then you should be looking at the market for Felix Bautista. Because the reality is they're not close to contending in 2026. And this isn't me saying they should definitively trade away Felix Bautista. It's they should be finding out if there's someone who's willing to unfathomably overpay. Make the type of trade that could help change your chances in 2026 and 2027. And I'm not rooting for that. That's not what I want. I don't like how far away they are. But I can't create a new reality where they're close. We got excited about this core and there being a championship window for this core, but the truth is the core is not a championship core at the moment. And I can't dismiss that just because I want to. It gives me no joy, the thought that this might be a failure. As we've talked about this month, like, I don't want this to be the story of those White Sox teams with all of that talent that a couple years later they were just stripping it down to the studs and giving away parts for nothing. I pray it's not that. But which is it closer to at the moment? That's the tough part. Is this core closer to Correa and Bregman and Altuve and Alvarez and that group? Or is it closer to Tim Anderson and Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert and that group? I'll let you think about it.
Still seems like they have everything in front of them, you know? Like,
I mean,
like,
to become that, yeah. But a year ago, I thought they were more like
Yeah.
I thought that was what they had. Today, I don't think they're closer to that Astros group than they are to that. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you they are that White Sox group. There's no MVP caliber player amongst this group at the moment. None of them were all-stars this year, or performing at an all-star level. Gunnar was the closest. Like,
Holiday, because I guess second base was shallow. Like,
yeah, but it was more that's more what it was. It's like saying Colton Cowser was in the Rookie of the Year conversation a year ago. Like, technically he was, but not because he was having a Rookie of the Year type of campaign, because there weren't good rookies in the American League last year, and somebody had to win, and he, had a sublime 2 months. Not 2 months, 6 weeks, whatever it was. This is where they are. So I'm not. There were people last week when we included the Felix Bautista thing in Would You Rather Wednesday that were like really bothered and thought that I was traipsing into just talking about anything. And I think those are people that are unwilling to look at the actual circumstances. Yes, the Orioles should be trying to compete next year. And 2 months ago, when it started to become clear what this season was going to be, my opinion was this should be treated as a blip on the radar and course correction for 2026. But the more we see of it, and every day that goes by where the problem isn't just, hey, all of the position players are great, but the pitching's not very good, which if that were the case, then you could justify this argument of like, hey, we know the core is still there, you just got to get more pitching. We don't know that the core is still there. We hope it is, and we think it could be, but we don't know that. There is no guarantee that Colton Cowser is a high-level Major League Baseball player. The evidence would suggest otherwise at the moment. We got a prolonged piece of evidence that Adley Rutschman might not be that. I mean, these are the realities that we're dealing with at the moment. And my God, I hope we get to the end of September and we're like, all right, Colton Cowser was a lot better down the stretch. And it was good to have Adley Rutschman back and looking like that. I hope that's the conversation we're having because it does change some of this feeling. But today, you're trying to convince me that the 2026 Orioles can be World Series contenders, and I'm begging you to look at the roadmap and tell me how that happens. Because it requires a lot. And if there's a commitment to that, if the commitment is money can solve this, we can close the gap with money, then I'm listening. If it's magic beans and hoping, then I think you need to figure out what you might be able to get for Dean Kramer and Felix Bautista at the deadline. And that's a painful thing to say, more with Felix than Kramer, because Kramer kind of is magic beans, right? You just don't know.
I think, yeah. The way he's been pitching the last couple of weeks, I say you have to trade.
Yeah, I mean, he might be one of the more desirable pitchers available at the deadline, and it might be able to get you a lot of pieces. And I get it. The easy thing to turn around and say is, well, somebody's got to pitch next year. But do we know that it's going to be Dean Kramer pitching like this? Or is it going to be Dean Kramer getting booted out of the rotation in May? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but if you're hellbent, then I'll listen to it. We'll see what Jeremy Conn thinks when he joins us next. It is a Monday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantopoulos family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1970. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
This August, the PGA Tour's best are coming to Maryland. The 2025 BMW Championship tees off August 12th through 17th at Caves Valley Golf Club in Owings Mills. See the top 50 players battle it out in the penultimate event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Don't miss your chance to witness world-class golf, fan experiences, and unforgettable moments. Tickets are on sale now at bmwchampionship.com. The BMW Championship, where legends take the lead.
Summer just got a whole lot merrier at Live Casino. Win your share of $30,000 during Christmas in July. Earn entries starting July 1st. Dash in on Saturday, July 26th to be one of 50 winners to unwrap top-of-the-line electronics, home appliances, free play, and other great gifts. Go all in on good cheer at Live Casino. At Erndale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from driveeasymd.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at driveeasymd.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR. Danny says, who are the great cores in the American League? Detroit is getting contributions from unlikely guys like Baez, McKinstry, Torres. Skubal and Mize are free agents after next year. Toronto was bad last year. Kowser is already worth 1.3 WAR, according to Baseball Reference, B-WAR, in 40 games. Boston has a strong core. The bar for the postseason ain't high. Well, I guess I would have two responses to that, Danny. One is getting into the playoffs the bar? Like, is that how bad this year has been that you're just back to like hoping to sneak into the playoffs because the American League isn't great next year? Like, we're resetting the bar. Hey, it's not a very, top heavy league, so maybe next year you could just sort of sneak in, and that would be fun. Like, I remember a year ago we were screaming about the fact that they couldn't win a playoff game. But I guess that's where we are, is that you're just hoping to get back into the conversation. Two, yeah, they also have two guys in the middle of that order that are already over 20 home runs this year and on pace to be somewhere between 35 to 40 plus, which is one of the problems that exists in Baltimore. As I said, like, somebody has to become that guy. There is no Riley Green currently in the middle of the order. There is no Spencer Torkelson currently in the middle of the order. And as he said, if he followed up by saying, if you're saying they're not Houston 2.0, then yes, I would agree. That's to me what I'm saying is that core group of players is a group of players that you looked at and said you can win World Series by surrounding this core group of players. And today, I do not feel that way. That doesn't mean that next year at this time, I'm not a hot take artist. I deal in reality. I can't predict the future. Neither, believe it or not, can Stephen A. Smith. These things where we just want to list and live in this world of like hot take. I'm not giving you a hot take. I'm telling you today, this group of players is not a championship core of young players. Now, could that be different a year from now? Yes. And the math of going all in still has to involve this group of players being better than what they've been. It's Monday. On Mondays, we catch you up with our guy, Jeremy Conn, host of the Big Bad Morning Show, 105.7 The Fan, ConcreteLocks.com, Pick Dogs, and I don't know, somewhere screaming at someone about something. I don't know. He's with us this morning here on GCR. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Yeah, if you'd have picked up sooner, you'd have heard me screaming at somebody on the road.
Oh?
Yeah. I just don't get, like, there's so many stupid people out there that drive, and they're so freaking selfish, like nobody else is on the road. I just saw somebody that pulled up to a red light, and they stayed 5 car lengths behind the car in front of them. And I'm going, do you know how many people are going to miss this light because you're a jackass?
Right. You're living in your world.
yeah. Anyway.
No, that is one of my favorite things. One of my favorite things is like the person that just decides that like they're in a parking lot and they need to stop to like, you know, deal with their navigation or something, and instead of pulling into a parking spot, they just stop.
Yeah.
Like they just stop in the middle of the, I don't know what you don't call it a road, the lane. They just stop in the middle of it and inconvenience everyone because again, we're living in their world. They're the star of the show. They're the main character.
Yeah, I mean, this happens so often, whether people pull up in front of the grocery store and somebody else is just running in, so they sit in the car, or they want to let that person out and then go park. And I understand that if it's a person that has an issue walking, like, yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that person doesn't have an issue walking, you're going to go park 30 feet away. I'm sure they can walk 30 freaking feet. I just had the issue at a CVS where I pulled into a parking spot. Some guy pulled in behind me to let someone out, and I honked my horn. He didn't move. I honked my horn again. He didn't move. So then I just laid on it, and then he moved and parked right next to me in the spot that was available because there were 4 spots available there that he could have parked in, and she could have walked right in.
Yep.
And then gave me this look like I'm in the wrong.
Yep. Yeah, you're the jerk. You're the a-hole.
Yeah.
That's the way that
That's
it goes.
me. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Speaking of being the a-hole, right? Am I the a-hole here? I'm sure you guys reacted to Mike Elias's comments from the weekend. And sort of confirming, well, the plan is going to be that we're going to trade away the pending free agents, which, like, I again, if anybody didn't realize that's been the plan for a month. That's been obvious. They're trading away the pending free agents. The real question is, are they going to do more than that? They already trade Brian Baker, but that was more. You could understand that. The issue that I have is within what he said. He uses this phrase. And we think we're going to be very good again in 2026 and have that intention. And, like, that sounds good. Like, that's what you want to hear them say. But my follow-up is, how close do you think you are to contending in 2026? Because, to me, contending, like, to win a championship in 2026 requires something we've never seen from this organization before. Like, it requires a serious investment this offseason, because trying to suggest that this is just about injuries or some bad luck, like, I don't look at this group and think they're a little bit of luck away from contending for a World Series in 2026.
See, I disagree with you 100%. Like, I mean, so what were the last 2 years then? Like, were those anomalies and this one's the right one?
I don't know that they were anomalies, but I don't think either one of those teams was a viable World Series contender.
Well, I mean, look, okay, but you got to start by getting in.
I agree with that part,
the
right?
Whole point of it.
Yeah.
So they get in, and they lost 4 games, or I'm trying to remember how was it?
2 and 3. They went 0-5 over the 2 years. Yeah.
0-5. Yeah. So one was a 5-game set, and the other one was.
The best of 3, right?
Yeah. So again, like, I go back to it. I still think our core is really good. I do. Like, we've had 3 games this year where Westberg, Rutschman, and Henderson all played, and you know, when you start getting your guys healthy, Kowser missed a huge chunk. So, yeah, I'm in that group where I think injuries are the main reason. Now, do I think they had a great offseason? Hell no, they didn't. I mean, the Charlie Morton thing ends up flipping the script and looking okay, but you'd already buried yourself with all of his losses. So if you're looking at a plus-minus, you're probably still in the minus. Trevor Rogers comes out of nowhere and looks like something incredible, and people are going, well, should we trade him? I think that's even bigger risk trading him, because if you get back nothing for him, or you get back a bunch of prospects, you're going to be hearing the same old song for the next 4 or 5 years until those guys show up. The big question I have is, what are they looking for? Are you looking for more prospects? Are you looking for guys that could be ready? Because if we start moving guys like Laureano, Cedric Mullins, I know there's some outfielders in the minors. I want to look at Kierstead for an extended period of time. The outfield market in free agency next year is Kyle Tucker and a whole bunch of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're going to spend $500 million on Kyle Tucker.
Oh, I'd be stunned if they're going to spend $500 million on Kyle Tucker, but they're not signing Cedric.
But I totally understand your side of it, though, because it doesn't feel great watching this team right now.
Well, this is, like, the problem that I have is I want to believe this core is better than what we've seen, but to me the core is as big of a problem as, like, the injuries or the offseason was. I have no idea what Adley Rutschman is. Like, I don't know that Adley Rutschman today is a good baseball player. Or a plus baseball player. I mean, like, he's certainly a serviceable baseball player, and I don't know. Like, I have no idea what he is. And, Colton Kowser is a .289 on-base percentage guy. I don't know what Colton Cowser is. I don't know that this is a championship core or particularly close to a championship core. Like, I think Jackson Holliday is going to keep getting better. I'm still a believer that Jackson Holliday can be a really high-level baseball player, even if we've kind of gotten ahead of ourselves. He's not really that yet. He's just better than he was a year ago, and so we like the trajectory. I definitely think Gunnar Henderson is overall better than what we've seen from him this year. I still believe Gunnar Henderson is closer to a superstar, and that this is kind of the aberration, and we'll look back on and this is the anomaly when Gunnar Henderson.
There's more power than what we're seeing.
Yes, for sure. I don't. Yeah. I those two I have more confidence in than the rest of and Westberg, I think, is what Westberg is. Like, I don't think there's a next level to Jordan Westberg. I think this is his story, and it's really helpful for Jordan Westberg. If he's the fifth best player on your team, that's a good thing. But Cowser and Rutschman, I have no idea. I mean, I'm clueless as to what Colton Cowser and Adley Rutschman are as baseball players at this moment, and I can't work under the assumption that they are definitive parts of the solution as high-level players a year from now, because the track record doesn't suggest that to me.
But does he have a long enough track record to suggest anything? Like,
it's part of the problem.
One of those guys, like Colton Cowser, should have won Rookie of the Year last year. Like, it's ridiculous that he didn't. And looking at who won it and how they won it, like, it still drives me nuts. But all that aside, like, there were still holes in his game, the strikeouts, and you mentioned the on-base percentage. Like, there are things he needs to improve on. But I think a healthy version of him is better than what we've been trotting out over and over and over again. Like, I want them to trade away Ramon Laureano. I want them to trade away Cedric Mullins and some of these other guys who I do like, but let's be honest. Those are the areas where we can vastly improve. When you have other guys under contract till 2029, 2030, you've got those guys relatively on the cheap, so you should be able to spend money to fill the other holes. And right now, I mean, are they going to go out and spend that type of money on pitching? Are they going to spend that type of money on a bat? I don't know.
That's what it's going to require, man. Like, they're definitely going to need at least one top half of the rotation pitcher, and I would argue they need two top half of the rotation pitchers. Grayson Rodriguez.
It also depends what they trade away, right?
I mean, that's part of it.
Let's say they trade away Rogers and Morton. What's the staff look like next year? Right now on paper, is it Bradish who hasn't pitched?
Yeah.
Povich?
Yeah, I mean,
what are we looking at?
This is the conversation. So I'm in this weird place. I don't think they trade Zach Eflin. And I think you just can't really get anything for Zach Eflin, and so you're better off giving him a qualifying offer at the end of the year. And either, there's no market for him, he takes it and tries to have a rebound year and hope for the best, or if he can get that type of offer, then the compensatory pick you get in return is probably better than what you're getting trying to trade Zach Eflin right now. So I don't think they trade Zach Eflin. I think he actually becomes an interesting part of the conversation going to next year and hoping for the best. But that isn't a solution to me. That's still hope at that point. This is why I don't think that they don't look like they're close to me. I think the Dean Kramer conversation is warranted. Like, Dean Kramer is having the best couple of months he could possibly be having right now.
If you take out April, he's one of the best pitchers.
100%.
Silly to say.
But am I confident that Dean Kramer is definitely this guy next year and not a guy that by May we're saying, I'm not really sure if he can be in the rotation right now? I don't have that confidence at all. So I'd absolutely be listening on what offers would be for Dean Kramer in a thin pitching market. If you can, turn Dean Kramer into like remember the year that Sidney Ponson was like the most desirable pitcher on the trade market, and we were all like, what the hell happened here? But that's what it feels like with that's unfair. I don't know. Sidney Ponson was probably better than we realized he was. Like, that's what it feels like with Dean Kramer, where you're trying to sell high. And as furious as people get, you have to, if you're not, to me, willing to go all in, do the dramatic thing this offseason. If the plan is just let's hope for better luck, then my answer would be find out what the market would be for Felix Bautista, which isn't you need to trade Felix Bautista. It's find out if there is someone who's willing to dramatically overpay and can help you for the next couple of years fortify this team in multiple ways. Like, if you're willing to go all in, if you're willing to we're hellbent. Whatever is necessary, we are going to do it this offseason to get there. then don't trade away guys that aren't pending free agents. But if you're not doing that, I'd be listening.
Yeah, well, it's the big issue I have is like, so whenever we talk about making trades and doing something to better the team, it's like everybody wants to give away the stuff that they don't want. And I got news for you. People don't want the stuff that you don't want.
Your pending free agents are not getting you much of anything at the deadline. Like, you're going to trade them because you need to trade them. But if you think the combination of we all love Ryan O'Hearn, but Ryan O'Hearn is a positionless bat that everyone has. Every team in baseball has their version of Ryan O'Hearn, which doesn't mean they won't take another one, but they're not giving you something significant for that bat. If you think Ryan O'Hearn
kind of feels like a player that the Guardians would trade for, like, you know what I mean? Like, because they don't have enough offense, and it's ironic that they're there now, but it seems like the type of fit for a team that's hoping to get into the postseason. But a lot of these big teams that you're talking about, like the Yankees aren't going to want him.
No.
The Dodgers aren't going to want him.
Yeah, there's a lot of smoke about the Red Sox and O'Hearn. That's been heavy this weekend, and I can see that, but it's still, none of these teams are paying a premium for Ryan O'Hearn. They're not doing it. It's like how for the last 3 years we've convinced ourselves that the Mariners would give up one of these pitchers for Ryan effing Mountcastle. Like, it's this is make-believe stuff. Teams don't say the thing that's going to put us over the top is a positionless bat. Like, it's nonsense the way that we talk about these guys. And
I feel the same way as you. Like, people loved. I mean, we love our own guys,
right?
So much. Like, people were like, "Oh my God, we got to trade Mountcastle and see what we can get for him because he's playing well. He's such a streaky player." It's like, if you don't capitalize at the peak, when are you going to trade him? He's under control for a little bit, which there's some value in that. But let's be honest, like, how much?
Right. The guys that have value are the guys you don't want to trade. Like, that's the way this works. The reason why you don't want to trade them
is the most interesting one, Glenn.
And I'm not rooting for it. I don't want them to trade Felix Bautista. I want Felix Bautista to be part of this winning a World Series. But again, if you're not going to do if the answer is we're going to spend our offseason is going to be Tyler O'Neill and Tomo Sagano or the comparable this offseason, then look into trading Felix Bautista because you ain't winning a World Series that way next year.
No, you can't. And again, like closers, I don't want to say closers are a dime a dozen because when you don't have one, you realize how important they are.
Oh, no doubt.
But let's be honest, like, you know, the Yankees this year paid all that money to Devin Williams, and Luke Weaver saved their ass because Devin Williams looked like trash. Then Weaver gets hurt, so Williams gets back in there, and then he looks pretty good. I'm not saying that you can just go, okay, Sir Anthony Dominguez, you're the closer now. Clearly that's not something you want. But the fact of the matter is, like, couldn't you make a move for a closer next year if that wasn't your guy, if you had somebody you didn't find or signed somebody in the offseason? Like the Cardinals are going to trade Ryan Helsley, and everybody's talking about him like, hey, man, that's a good get at the trade deadline, and it might be, but how great is it? What are people willing to give up?
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. All right, engage me in a conversation if you don't mind, sir.
Okay.
As a younger man, certainly not any time recently. As a younger man, were you ever someone that may have been in a relationship with one person and then also kind of in a relationship with another person at the same time?
Can I tell you something you won't believe?
Yes.
I have never cheated on a woman in my life.
Good for you, sir. Good.
Never.
I mean, even like 16-year-old Jeremy Conn, you didn't do this?
No, 16-year-old Jeremy Conn couldn't get one woman.
That's fair.
Two.
That's a fair point. I've been that guy. Now, again, this is a long, I want to make this abundant, a long time ago.
There are guys but I'm saying, too, there are guys that, like, I was never a dater, really, because once I found somebody, if I was dating someone, I'm dating them to see how it goes. If it's not something I want, then I just say, hey, this isn't for me, and then I move on until I find something I want. I am a habitual relationship guy. Like, if you go back to my life, I've probably been in like 4 unbelievably long-term relationships and a couple things sprinkled in. Yeah.
I would say that I actually have a similar issue. The problem is, like, my bit was that I would normally just decide to be in a relationship with whoever I had slept with. Like, well, you know, like she's she's willing to see me naked. I might as well date her because who knows if anybody else will be. And then somebody else comes along who's also willing to see you naked, and you're like, well, Well, this sounds great. Like I've been guilty of this, and so I wanted to engage in the conversation of how you do it publicly, because we've all had our fun with Coldplay guy. Like, we've all had plenty of fun with him, and like
how annoying is that going to get real soon, or if it hasn't already?
It's already. I mean,
Do you have a favorite one of those?
Well, selfishly, one of my favorite ones is they did Corey Matthews from Boy Meets World with Lauren, that skank, that harlot, that Linda Cardellini, of course, famously played Lauren, who Corey met at the ski lodge and cheated on Topanga with, and I've never forgiven him for that, but I've really never forgiven him.
I wouldn't have either, but I do love some Cardinale.
Yeah, I can't ever look like when I swear to God, when Linda Cardellini was the voice of when she was
I like both of them.
When she was the voice of the cute, was it like a rabbit in Guardians of the Galaxy, and they like murdered her. I was the guy. Everybody else in the theater is like, and I was the guy. Yes. I've never forgiven poor Linda Cardellini for her actions at the ski lodge, and I never will. That's just the way that it worked. No, like it ran its course already. Now it's dead. But I feel like we're still having fun with how stupid the guy and she were. Like, you get put on the Jumbotron, just act normal, and it's not going to become like you did this to yourself. Like, on top of the fact that you were cheating, you brought attention to the fact that you were cheating. You could have just been on the Jumbotron. I'm pretty sure your spouses aren't at the concert, because if they were, then they probably would have known that you were cheating on them.
The move is to just put your head down on her shoulder, not to dive down, or even just hang on there, turn your face so maybe people can't recognize you. But as soon as you do what he did, you know if somebody's got a tape that's going viral.
It's obvious. And I say that to say, I was hoping that you had a story of a time where you were out somewhere publicly with another person, and I was hoping there would be a story like this, because I absolutely dealt with this a few times in my life.
The weirdest night of my life was when I actually met my now wife, Katie, because I was into her, and I sent her, I'd met her playing trivia, and I was kind of like, my ex-girlfriend and I were off and on, and because she had this problem of saying no when anybody asked to sleep with her, she couldn't do it. So she had like a little speech impediment. So again, like when that was going on, then
now, hang on a second. Remind me what her name was.
Laurie. So you don't want to go down that path. I think she's about 3 bills now. But she was beautiful, absolute head turner when she walked in the room. And I think that's kind of why I kept going back. But like, I used to hang out at this place called the Blue Lagoon, and I met a girl that I liked, and her friend liked me, and I didn't know it. So this big night where I go back to my ex-girlfriend, I realize she's got somebody in the house or the apartment, so I lose my mind, and then I leave. Then I go to the bar, and then I run into these 2 girls. The one girl I like finally wants to give me her phone number. So I'm doing that. Then the other girl goes, I don't want to give you her phone number because I like you. And I'm going, Jesus. Then my phone goes off, and it's Katie texting me, do you want to come over? And that's the first do you want to come over text I ever got from her. And the answer was yes. It was a resounding yes. Get me out of all this other nonsense that's going on. Like, I finally find a girl that likes me, and one other girl doesn't want to give me her phone number. It's like, what the hell? It's just, I don't know, man. It was a weird night.
I definitely remember sitting in I was sitting in a young lady was driving, and I was sitting in the car, and we were going to go to a corn maze in Pennsylvania. And of all of we stopped for gas along the way, and a buddy of mine happened to stop at the exact same gas station. And this is why I can understand the astronomer guy, because like in the moment your brain just stops working. Like you're doing the bit where like, do I just duck? Do I try to make it like hopefully he can't see me? Like, what is my game plan here? And I realized I had no game plan. Like I truly had no game plan at all. And so he just approached the car and was like, Glenn? And I'm like, hey man, yeah, you know. I'll use it. Cindy, you know Cindy, right? Like, he's like, yeah, I know Cindy. Are you guys? And I'm like, Yeah. We're going up to meet some people. Cindy wanted to drive, and I just didn't. Like, I managed to pull it off, I think. I think I managed to pull it off. But, like, it's in that moment, my brain completely went blank. Like, in that moment, I'm absolutely having all of the thoughts that, like, do I just light the car on fire? Do I just?
Oh, man, that's kind of like those awkward situations are the things that I love to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I'm one of those guys that I don't want to call it like shock jock type.
I have
stuff,
heard that about you, that you like
I
to
saying
watch.
something to get a reaction. Yeah. I love reactions.
100%.
And speaking of this, like by the way, my favorite meme was JD Vance with the couch.
Yeah, that one was good. That one was good. A lot of the Edge
was,
the Edge and Lita stuff was good. Like the King of the Hill one was excellent with what's his
that was funny.
Yeah, that one was good. Look, there have been good ones, but it's over.
It just got old quick.
It's over. It's all we did for 3 days as a society. It's time for something new. All right. Remind everybody what's going on in your world.
Yeah, so I have a big surgery coming up on August 4th. I think we've talked about it. I don't know if I have.
And now you have. You're having so they say that after you have the surgery, you'll be called the throat goat. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I'm getting my gag reflex removed. That's what's happening. I'm going to be the biggest. Everybody's going to love me at the rest stop. No.
Very popular.
No, I sleep apnea surgery. My throat closes from side to side, so they're going to shave down the inside of my throat, which sounds as amazing as it actually is.
Hell yeah.
And I'm going to be out of commission for 2 weeks. Like, my voice could change. My cadence could change. Going to be interesting to see what happens. Most people says it changes for the better, but I don't know. So I got that going on. But I got pickdogs.com. They're selling my picks now. I do a podcast every day on YouTube for them called The Lowdown. And then I have, obviously, my website, concretelocks.com. And then the radio show in all week. So I got 2 more weeks of radio to get out of my system in case I can't talk ever again after the surgery.
You should call Ed by his nickname, Princess Puppy Paws. We were out.
Oh, is that what that was his nickname at the?
Yeah, we were out doing the event last week, and he was sitting in the table right in front of me, and so he and Tim and Greg, and so I used all of them as fodder during the course of the night. And yeah, I decided to go with Princess Puppy Paws for Ed. So you should roll with that at some point.
Do you love emceeing that event? Because it seems like a really cool event.
I love being involved with that group. Show Your Soft Side. What they do is genuine. Like, it's an unbelievable organization to be involved with, and they're incredibly. I do nothing. All I do is come do the yakety yak, right? Like, I don't really do anything that requires any skill, and yet they treat me like I'm Michael Jackson performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Like it's amazing, and what they do is incredible. So it means a lot to me to be involved with Show Your Soft Side, and it's actually how we found our cat this year was through Dawn Marie Peninsula Cats, who is one of the the rescue organizations that benefits from Show Your Soft Side. So it's been really good for us and our family, man.
It's awesome. I love those people. I think they do a great job.
It's incredible. All right, buddy. Love you. We'll talk to you next week before your surgery. Make sure you're ready to go and that you've picked out a name. See you, pal.
You'll see me after the surgery, baby. Okay?
Oh, no doubt. See you, pal.
All right, man. I'll see you.
Jeremy Conn, Big Bad Morning Show 105.7 The Fan. Yeah, it's over. It's Jover, guys. It's Jover for the Orioles. It's Jover for the Coldplay memes. We've done them all.
No, I'll take more.
It's over.
Orioles haven't had a home game since, so they need to.
Oh, they need to do their Coldplay cam. There's no way. You got to be the first. You can't do it now. You're just doing the same thing.
500th, or if you're the.
You're just
second.
doing the same. It's like being the 8 billionth guy to do the Bugatti challenge, right? Like, you're doing that same thing that everybody else has already done. Super. Great stuff, guys. Great stuff. Today's show brought to you by County Sports Zone. CountySports.zone is the website. It's proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. We're a month away from the start of high school football season. Start getting ready now, CountySports.zone. Ryan Ripken joins us next. Glenn Clark Radio. Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
For fans of the Costas Inn, and who isn't, I have some great news. Now there's a second location to go along with 4100 North Point Boulevard. This one is at the Timonium OTB. This is Stan the Fan, and I have been a fan of the Costas Inn and Triantafalo's family for going on 30 years. They're open for lunch and dinner, same great Costas feel, same great menu and quality food you've been enjoying for well over 50 years. The exact address on your GPS is 2200 York Road, and their phone number at the new location is 667-406-1975. If you're new to the Costas experience, get ready for a real treat. All wrapped up in a new spacious dining room in Timonium at the OTB. If you want steamed crabs, you have them, and the full menu at 4100 North Point Boulevard. The number for reservations there at Costas, 410-477-1975.
Need a trophy or award that's as unique as the achievement? Look no further than Crown Trophy. With locations in Owings Mills and Gaithersburg, they specialize in custom trophies, plaques, and medals for any occasion. From sports and academic awards to employee recognition and corporate gifts, visit crowntrophy.com today and let them help you create a lasting memory for your school, team, or business. Crown Trophy is a proud supporter of the Maryland Public Secondary Schools Athletic Association. crowntrophy.com.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the first ever Baltimore basketball player to reach the Naismith Hall of Fame as we talk to those who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green and find our annual summer travel section with information on some of the best sporting events and activities in Maryland that your family can check out all summer long. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCRs, continue along on a Monday edition of the program. Today's show is also brought to you by the Maryland 5-Star. It's back this October at Fair Hill in Cecil County, the 2025 Maryland 5-Star. It is the Triple Crown of equestrian sports. It's also just a celebration of fall here in the state of Maryland. The Corgi Cup, the Food and Wine Festival, great shopping. If you've never been, check it out. Maryland 5-Star with the number 5, maryland5star.us in order to get your tickets. He's the host of the Ryan Ripken Show. He's also part of Baltimore Baseball Tonight over on 105.7 The Fan. He is our buddy Ryan Ripken, and he's back with us this morning here on GCR. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Happy Monday. How was your weekend?
It was, my weekend was, like, laid back this time around, man. We got, actually, that's not, Rita and I got roasted on Saturday night by the Baltimore Improv Group. That was a lot of fun. They had a lot of fun with us. I told stories that I never told before, like how I used to sneak, when I was a young man, I used to sneak Malibu into church. This is a straight shoot when I was like 15 years old. I didn't like, my parents still made me go to church every week, and I didn't much care for going to church. And so my buddy, his parents always had a bottle of Malibu at their house. And that's about as much as like your palate will take when you're 15 years old. You can't really do anything besides. So we would take bottles of Gatorade, and we would like dump out a third of the Gatorade, and we put Malibu in, and then we would think that we were Beavis and Butthead sitting in the church, like, look at that, you know. And then inevitably, like, one of our parents would be like, "Hey, I'm parched. Can I get some of that Gatorade?" And we'd be like, "No!" We thought we were pulling it off, and we definitely got caught very quickly, and we got in a lot of trouble. I don't remember how it came up, but my God, the folks at the Baltimore Improv Group had a lot of fun with it. So We got eaten up pretty good by the Baltimore Improv Group folks. That was a lot of fun. What about you? What was your weekend like?
Yeah, well, also, we'll have to talk more about that story at a different time because I'm laughing thinking about some of my my memories growing up here, and but as far as my weekend, it was good. It was kind of like, I don't know, coming out of the All-Star break, right, and being go with baseball, and then it's kind of quiet for a second, and then baseball's back. And then I know that baseball's back because of the mentions are popping up. And usually if there's a lot of mentions popping up, it's usually that it's when things aren't going well.
Yep.
So
everybody's
I'm
angry.
like, oh.
Yeah.
And that was like, Saturday night I'm going, oh, my man Dino's pitching well again. And then all of a sudden, it's a loss. And I go, whoa, okay, to race the good. But I can't complain, Glenn. I had a good time with family. And,
Excellent.
Now it's and now we're here to heat things up because in 10 days, we're going to find out what the heck's happening here in Baltimore and around the rest of Major League Baseball.
Ryan, I think you are an optimistic person. I think we would famously Rick Dempsey used to always say, like, I'm not. Everybody says I'm a glass half full guy. I'm a glass full guy. I don't think you're quite that, but I think you're an optimistic person. The comments from Mike Elias this weekend, where he, they're gonna trade their pending free agents. That's been the case for a couple of weeks. I don't think we needed confirmation about that. That was obvious. But those guys aren't gonna get you a lot in return in part because they're all pending free agents, and in part because like even the best player in that group is Ryan O'Hearn. Unfortunately, he's a positionless bat, and like that's just not what gets you a ton in the market. But there is an interesting conversation we had about should they be trading anyone else. And they did trade Brian Baker, but it made sense. Like, you understood he was out of options. You didn't know what he was going to be next year. Relievers are volatile. I get it. It was a trade worth making. And there's this fascinating conversation about the likes of Dean Kramer or Trevor Rogers or even Felix Bautista and trading high and trying to get the most value that you can get versus the need to have those guys to compete next year. And Mike Elias says, hey, look, it's our intention to compete in 2026. So kind of essentially not slamming the door, but suggesting that they're not going to look to prioritize trading anyone else. And I'm torn because I think that's what the correct answer should be. But Ryan, looking at this group right now, I'm hard-pressed to envision the path to where they're World Series contenders a year from now.
Well, it's understandable, given just the this isn't just, let's take this further. This is not just for the history since Mike Elias and the front office came to Baltimore in the winter of 2018, right? This is going back to decades of the Baltimore Orioles not contending. This is where the fears come out because the Orioles have not been to a World Series since 1983, haven't won the World Series since 1983. You can count on your hand, right, of how many postseason appearances that they have had over the last, 40 years, right? So that's where it all stems from, right? I do think, though, and this is where now saying the realistic side, I wouldn't even say this is optimistic, but this is also more factual. The Baltimore Orioles, despite their flaws, have a lot of good players. Now, have they underperformed with good players? Yes. Have they done things more fundamentally wrong this year? Yes, and that's a big reason why that they're in this hole. I mean, I make the argument, Glenn, that the Orioles would be a team knocking on the doorstep of getting back into the contention if there's honestly 15 to 20 games you can go back and look at, and there's multiple plays that aren't talked about enough where they don't fundamentally execute well enough, and it costs them. Mm-hmm. And that's with the weaknesses of the starting staff in the first month plus. That is with the weaknesses of the offense being dormant, it felt like, every other game. So I want to lead with that. But then the optimist side is this is a good team. And I think for Elias at this deadline, What do people want? They want big league ready guys. And although these guys are on expiring contracts, there are so many teams that are going to value a big leaguer that can come in if they believe it's going to make a difference. And I'll even go as far to say is some of the relief options that the Orioles have, I think, are going to attract a lot of attention. I mean, heck, David Robertson just signed for $12 million to the Phillies. So I think guys like Dominguez, Soto, their price might be higher than people might anticipate because relief pitching looks like it's going to be at a premium here and starting, but it's hard to really figure out the whole starting pitching side. But you see my point here. There's going to be value because the Orioles have a lot of really solid players. They just haven't played up to their potential in Baltimore this year.
I think that's what makes the argument about some of these other guys more compelling, right? Like, is if you think those guys have some value, then what would Dean Kramer's value be on at the deadline? And again, it's not me trying to run out Dean Kramer. It's, and I don't know if I told you, but Buck was the one that brought it up originally with me. And is this a scenario where there's a team that looks at what Dean Kramer has done for the last 2 months and says, that's a number 2 starter on a playoff team and will pay you like that? And you say, well, we can't do that. We need Dean Kramer to be good next year. But are you sure that Dean Kramer is going to be that guy next year? Or is he going to be the guy that, 2 months into the year, you're questioning whether or not you can still have him in the rotation? And I think that's what makes this a more compelling conversation than we want it to be. Is this your opportunity to cash out when the value is at the highest?
Yeah, that's the part of it. First off, let me go on my Dean Kramer rant here because I think that Dean is so vastly underappreciated by so many people. And I know they go, well, Ryan, we see the guy, it's every other game. If I had told you that an Orioles starter since 2022, these are his ERAs, okay? 3.23, 4.12, 4.10, 4.06. It's probably a guy that you're going, all right, that's pretty solid. Tell me the innings. Okay. Well, we'll take away 22 because it's 125 innings, but 172, 129, he's at 115, which is going to be the top of it. I think that Dean Kramer's just starting to scratch the surface. And I put out a tweet a couple weeks ago, Glenn, and people didn't like it. But I truly believe Dean Kramer has a higher ceiling than people want to talk about. It's not about talent for Dean, it's execution. Now, your argument about selling high because there's the what if. What if Dean regresses and he's never going to be more than a 4 or 5 in a staff? Do you want to go out there and trade him? Yeah, that's a good argument. But I think this is where I kind of look at as you're identifying your team moving forward. You need starting pitching at the end of the day. You need it. I don't want to give up a starting pitcher unless I am getting a starting pitcher that I think can be a part of the future. And for the Orioles, if they move a guy like Dean or they move other really controllable assets, I think that's where fans are not sure what the direction is, right? I get Soto. I get Dominguez. I get Morton, Eflin, Sagano. But if Dean got traded, or Trevor Rogers, which, that was the rumor that popped up, which I thought is that to me that was laughable. And maybe that's just to stir things up. The Orioles don't have depth at starting pitching. So I just don't even see that being the case. But you see what I mean? I think that those types of moves would incite a lot more of stress for fans. Because then what is the full game plan?
Yeah,
right?
where is the window? And to me that to me is the compelling conversation. Because when you're Mike Elias and you say, hey, our intention is to compete in 2026, to me, if that's your way of saying, we get it, we screwed up. Like we maybe got a little too cute. We know, like, this is our window. We really need to invest significantly to close the gap. If that's what you're conveying in that moment, then I'm listening, right? Like, go do that. Hold on to Felix Bautista. Hold on to Dean Kramer. Hold on to Trevor Rogers. But if the answer is we just think it was bad luck this year, we just think we got unlucky, and next year's offseason is the same equivalent of we're going to make some subtle moves. We'll get this year's version of Tyler O'Neill, Gary Sanchez. Then I would probably be the one to say, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see this group plus some subtle moves being World Series contender. And if you're not, then I would probably be listening on some of these other guys and seeing if you can extend the window. I'm very formulaic when it comes to this. This to me works if you get that core of players and then you identify a period of time where you go all in to win with that core of players. And that, I think, is the frustration of what we saw last offseason, is it didn't reflect any element of all in. And if you're still not doing that, I don't know why you just hold on to guys in hopes of being the fifth seed, in hopes of maybe we can get in. It doesn't seem like smart business to me.
Yeah. One thing I want to try to point out with all of this, and this is when I say when I do say this is just the reality of sports, right? And you can be snake bitten. You can have all these issues. But, again, no one cares around baseball. Why? Because every team has injuries. And people could say to the Orioles, look at all of the injuries. Well, guess what? There's a lot of other teams that had a whole heck of a lot of injuries. I would argue it's not the injuries. It's not the players that you bring in. It comes down to the fundamental moments. And I think that's, to me, where the Orioles going into 2026, they were a more fundamental team in the past. In 2023, Glenn, when they won 100-plus games, they were a top 6 defensive team fielding-wise. They are nowhere near that right now.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And was their strength pitching in 2023? Absolutely not. The starting rotation was a question mark. Now, did Kyle Bradish and Grayson Rodriguez come on down the stretch? You're darn right. Like, they did their thing. But as a whole, they won games because they fundamentally executed what they had to do. And that has been the biggest issue for the Baltimore Orioles, in my opinion, in 2025. It's not the, well, we're injured and we didn't pitch well, we didn't hit well. Fundamentals. You make a lot of the little plays, you do the little things right. I just put out a clip of that this morning with Ken Griffey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about ALDS Game 5. The Mariners beat the Yankees, and Griffey scored from first on a double down the left field line. Yeah. And what he said was, of all of that, he goes, the most important play is the fundamental one. And if you don't execute the plays that you got to make every single time, it makes it harder to win. So that's the one part I want to put there. Now, for the Orioles as a whole in general, when it comes to, just going back to this deadline talk, there's a line in the sand that you have to draw on what you want to be about and who you want that to be with. And for next year for the Orioles, though, if we're looking about what they want to be, well, they want to be a team that can be hard-nosed, gritty at bats. You got to find guys that identify with the culture you're trying to represent. And pitching-wise, this is where I was getting with the deadline talk. If you need starting pitching, because I love Grayson Rodriguez, Glenn. I love his talent. Unfortunately, you can't depend on it. And I hated bringing it up earlier of going, well, he might miss a lot of time. I didn't expect Grayson to pitch this year when it happened, because it just gets really tricky. And I think there was a lot more happening there that he had to uphill battle, and we saw what happened. But so I actually would see the Orioles trade Felix Bautista over trading Dean Kramer or Trevor Rogers first, if we're being completely honest.
Sure.
Because you don't have it. You don't have that. And you go, well, how do you replicate a closer? You can't. But you also have found out that you can't afford to lose depth in the starting rotation. That is probably, if there's one thing that the Orioles, for me, need to focus on for next year, if we're not talking about fundamentals now, is that you need to have a plethora of arms and guys that you can depend on. And that's going to be that could make or break how things are going to look for the Birds. So that's what I think on it. But there's a lot of things here with the Orioles that they're going to have to evaluate, regardless of if they go on a hot streak now or they become complete sellers in 10 days.
Ryan Ripken with us here on GCR. Ryan, just another couple real quick because we've already somehow this has already gone. I don't know how this works, how this math happens. That I wake up, we already talked for 15 minutes. I assume you're of the belief that nothing about this is fluky with Trevor Rogers, and that's why you find that to be laughable. That like this is the story of who he is at this point.
Yes, and also, Glenn, hey, I'll be on as long as you need me.
I appreciate
that. I love coming on and talking to you, and I have the gift of gab. I can just keep going and going. So you can tell me to shut up at any
You're
point.
good. You're good, man.
But Trevor Rogers, I actually was on the Big Bad Morning Show this morning, and we were talking about him. And we talked about the mental side and going through the struggles. And for Trevor, a guy that in 2021 looked like he was going to be a part of this next group of up-and-coming pitchers that had elite upside. Because why? He was an all-star. He looked elite. And then injuries started to plague him. Lat injuries, some other nagging injuries that have really hindered him being on the field. And then the other part of it was trying to stay healthy and then trying to adapt as players and hitters are adapting to you. And so Trevor hadn't had the success the last few years, right? And that was frustrating. And it was a big mind game for him, but it wasn't because his talent was gone. It was just that he needed to figure out how to get back to that form that he was, which was only 4 years ago. And I'm not expecting him, Glenn, to have this 1.74 ERA, go out there and give great start after great start after great start. But I am buying that this is the pitcher that Trevor Rogers could always be. And I think that's the part that I'm excited about is he got through the hard times, the adversity made him better, and now he's getting comfortable with what it's going to take. And there's something to be said about that, Glenn, because we know this. Ever since Trevor came to Baltimore, there was a lot of negativity around him because he didn't perform out the gate, and then it's who the Orioles gave up to get him. And there's a guy down there, Kyle Stowers, that has 500 home runs now in his career. And, people are going, well, I can't believe you gave up Kyle for this guy. And don't think that Trevor doesn't feel that. But I look at a guy of how they handle the stress and the pressure, and that makes me even more confident that this isn't a fluke from him. So if he can stay healthy, Glenn, I think we're going to have a really, really good pitcher in Baltimore for the next upcoming years, and I'm really excited to see what that could entail.
The frustration that a lot of people have expressed about Kobe Mayo not being in the lineup regularly after it looked like he was starting to turn the corner. And I this is one that I actually struggle with, Ryan, because it is complicated. They did spend a lot of money on Tyler O'Neill, and to say it's just, well, you're trying to force something, like, no, you spent a lot of money on him. At the moment, it doesn't look like he's going to opt out at the end of the year. He needs to produce. He's going to have to be a part of this thing moving forward. I think it's as simple as saying, as frustrating as it is, unfortunately, Ryan O'Hearn is almost certainly going to be gone in a couple weeks, and that will open up at bats. But what do you make of the way that they've handled Kobe Mayo in the last couple of weeks?
To be honest, I haven't been a fan of it. I understand the notion of you have a lot of good players, you want to give it bats, and you're trying to win, right? And so when you have a healthier group, with guys like Westberg and Jackson, Gunnar, Arias, Ryan O'Hearn, the infield, right? Even though Kobe plays first, they DH these guys, right? So it takes a spot away if Kobe's not playing first base. But this was and is the opportunity without Ryan Mountcastle here, because that was the reason why we heard he wasn't here, was they didn't have a spot for him. And Ryan Mountcastle hasn't played in a while. And it took Kobe some time to get comfortable, and he finally did, and then he got iced out a little bit. And that's a hard thing. We're creatures of habit, Glenn. The more you do something, the more you're out there, the better chance you have of getting things going and getting hot and figuring out who you are as a player, as a hitter. And that's something that I think could be a missed opportunity here, depending on what happens here at the deadline. And maybe it's the deadline happens, Kobe's in Baltimore, and if that's the case, Kobe needs to play every day. He has to. If you believe this is a generational or a top-tier bat that can really help your lineup, you're going to have to figure that out right now. Because if not, then you're going to be still in the same question going into 2026. And that was my one thing that I wish, and it's hard. And the one thing, Glenn, I know it's a little bit longer part that I want people to understand this. I don't blame the Orioles whatsoever for the thought process, because in 2023, when they surprised everybody, they were ready to go now. And then 24, it was about winning now. And the Orioles felt that they owed it to the group to go out and win games, maybe more so at the hindrance of some of the growth of their prospects, which I'm not saying that that's what I agree with, but that was the thought process, because you're like, you know what, we're here. We owe it to our fans. We owe it to these guys in this locker room to go out there and win right now. But I would argue that building that winning team is how your prospects grow, with the good and the bad, but that's your upside. So the Orioles, they have to make some choices on a few guys. And like the sad thing is Heston Kjerstad, I think Heston can really hit, but I don't think we really know that now, given everything that's happened because of the runway of time. So we'll see. I hope for Kobe he gets his at-bats. And I hope it all works out for everyone. It's a tough business, Glenn. It's a tough business.
Ryan, to me,
and it's a lot of hard decisions.
The math to contending in 2026 has to include one of those two guys being a legitimate middle of the order bat. Like that's one of the somebody in the comments brought up the Tigers earlier and said, hey, the Tigers don't exactly have this loaded core. I'm like, yeah, but they got two guys that already have over 20 home runs this season, in Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson. Like the Orioles, they've got to figure out who can be a thumper from this group. Like that, they have to find that guy. And we've thought it could be either one of these two guys. To me, the path to this has to involve one of them being a 30 home run hitter in the major leagues.
Yeah, I still think this Orioles team, regardless of if a guy develops to be that power bat or not, it's a really good team. It's a really good lineup. The problem has been situational execution, in my opinion. But if you're looking at what they have right now, talent-wise, it's really good. Now, if you had the upside of Kobe Mayo hitting 25 to 30 home runs, well, that's going to bring more fear to a lineup. Sam Basato's knocking on the door, and hopefully his oblique gets better. And I hate OB injuries, Glenn. They stink, but he'll be okay in the long run. You see what he is capable of doing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to like with these young guys. And this is really what it's all about at the end of the day, Glenn, is if you are going to identify talent well, and I think that the Orioles do a tremendous job of identifying talent, then you can be rewarded by seeing it through, but only if you see it through, right? You either see it through that way, or you make a move and you bring someone else that's going to come in and make an impact. And to be honest, they have done this. They did it with Jordan Westburg. Jordan Westburg actually is the number one example for me. Colton Cowser, he kind of got off to that good start last year, and then he just played himself into playing every day, in my opinion. But Westburg, what'd they do going into 24? They came out in the open, and I remember Brandon Hyde saying it in spring training. Yeah, Jordan's going to play a lot. He's going to play a lot. We're committing to him. I think that really helped transcend Jordan to what he is now. And I hope to see that with whoever that they decide to do that with moving forward. But that's the luxury of having identified good players. Now it's just you got to make the choice of what you want to do with them.
Ryan, what's your story this week? What are you guys doing on the Ryan Ripken Show? Where are we going to be hearing you? The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, let's see. Besides bothering you for for half an hour, which I appreciate.
Dude.
Today.
We can do this for 6 hours.
We could, maybe one day we do it. But so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I got the Ryan Ripken Show. We got some coals in the fire for guests this week that are lining up, and I'll be doing Baltimore baseball tonight, pregame show on 105.7 The Fan, and then I'll be on 12 to 2 on 105.7 The Fan with Bob Haney. It's called Ripping It with Ryan, but I'll be ripping it with Bob, and he'll be ripping it with me.
I swear to God, I thought you were about to say 105.7 The Bob, which, to be fair, given Bob Haney's prowess, they might want to think about it. They might want to think about making it 105.7 The Bob. Hey, man, you're the best. Appreciate you. Let's talk again soon. We can swap stories about times that we snuck booze into places when we were kids, all right?
Amen. Yeah, let's go down memory lane.
Hey, buddy.
Have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you, pal. Ryan Ripken with us here on GCR. And look, by the way, people are reacting. I do want to make it very clear. Ryan isn't saying he wants to trade Felix Bautista. His point is he would trade Felix Bautista before he would trade Dean Kramer or Trevor Rogers, and we talked about that briefly last week. The argument there would be it's easier to find relievers than it is to find starting pitching. You can kind of create high-level relief pitchers. Now, we think Felix Bautista is even separated from that. Like, we think he's a level above that. But it's easier to do that than it is to create starting pitching. And that's the point that Ryan's trying to make there. I still struggle with seeing the vision. Look, going into this season, there was some part of us that said, like, could it all still work? Could this, and this all happen? And if it does, then you've got something? And that's what I would have to say moving forward. Like, could Adley Rutschman come back and be a star, and Gunnar Henderson second half of the year start hitting home runs again, and Colton Cowser be more consistent, and Jackson Holiday continues to the point where you completely feel different about the core, and then maybe Kobe Mayo does start playing every day after the trade deadline, and you could have a different feeling about it. I assume that I assume they look to trade Ramon Laureano just because you think the value's high. Or is he your insurance policy in center field until you feel like Enrique Bradfield is ready? Like, I think we've all assumed that they would at least momentarily move over and slot Colton Cowser into center field. But Colton Cowser's played well in left field, and maybe you just want to leave him there and try to get the bat going and not have him worry about playing anywhere else. And if ultimately you think Enrique Bradfield is your center fielder, and I think they think that, then, why create a problem by moving Colton Cowser over for a short period of time if you just intend to move him back when you think Bradfield is ready? So maybe they don't trade Laureano because he becomes their stopgap in center field. Now, I don't know that you love the idea of Ramon Laureano playing center field, but I mean, this is kind of the way that it goes. If you're not bringing back Cedric Mullins, you're not going to get the same range in center field.
Hopefully Jorge Mateo will be back soon.
That's a great point.
And then
solves all your problems.
And then we don't have to worry about anything.
Solves all your problems. What's his? I think he's a club option for next year, right, Jorge Mateo? What's his number for next year? It's an interesting one, right? Like, at a certain number, what are you willing to pay to bring Jorge Mateo back? I mean, I can't imagine it's significant.
This year he was making 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 this year, 5.5 next year.
The club option?
Correct. Club option, 5.5 for 2026.
Man, do you do that?
Age 31 season.
Right?
For Jorge Mateo.
Jorge Mateo does present value to a good team, but do you know that you're a good team? Well, that's a compelling one. That's a really compelling. And $5.5 million shouldn't be a make or break for a baseball team, but hello, this is the Orioles we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. If that means they're not going to be able to sign a pitcher,
yeah, it's a weird conversation. All right, today's show is also brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Stan, Ross, and Luke back in action today. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports is how you watch it live, or if you miss it live, you can check it out there. A little bit later on, click on the videos tab. Go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn and the brand new Costas Inn in Timonium. Come back in. We will go 3 up and 3 down for a 3-game week. That's next. Glenn Clark Radio.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
Summer just got a whole lot merrier at Live Casino. Win your share of $30,000 during Christmas in July. Earn entries starting July 1st. Dash in on Saturday, July 26th to be one of 50 winners to unwrap top-of-the-line electronics, home appliances, free play, and other great gifts. Go all in on good cheer at Live Casino at Erndale Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, we celebrate the first ever Baltimore basketball player to reach the Naismith Hall of Fame as we talk to those who knew Carmelo Anthony best about how his Baltimore upbringing shaped his legendary career. Also inside, Bo Smoka profiles Ravens second-round pick Mike Green, and find our annual summer travel section with information on some of the best sporting events and activities in Maryland that your family can check out all summer long. Press Box is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself? It could be low testosterone. At Game Day Men's Health, we specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Our treatments, including testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Get started today with a free testosterone test and feel the difference. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Game Day Men's Health, where men reclaim their game.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along here in a Monday edition of the program. And on Mondays, we do this.
3 up. and 3 down.
3 Up and 3 Down is brought to you today by the print issue of Press Box, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms. Only a couple of weeks left on this one, so make sure you go get it before it's gone. Daddy gone, the love is gone. Carmelo Anthony's on the cover. He's going to the Basketball Hall of Fame. He'll be Baltimore's first ever Basketball Hall of Famer. So a great story about those who knew him and explaining how Baltimore shaped his legendary career. It's also our travel issue. Lots of suggestions for activities, events, opportunities throughout the state of Maryland for you and your family. Go check it out right now, that print issue of Press Box. All right, just 3 games, which makes this one a weird list, but it's what we do.
It's a meaningful list.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll start on the down. My number 3, it's tough because they lost 2 games, so I think the 3 guys that are on my list kind of reflect the 2 losses. So 3 and 2 almost work hand in hand. 3's Ryan O'Hearn. Because I'll just tell you, 2 is going to be Gregory Soto. Like, if you want to say, hey, the error happened because Gregory Soto was standing directly in front of him, yeah, I see that too, and that's why Gregory Soto takes a spot higher on my list. But it is still a play that I feel like should have been made. It was a force out at home. You just had to get it home. Or, I don't know, take the out. Whatever you do, you can't throw the ball away. That's my point. And so that becomes critical, obviously, on Saturday night, combined with the fact that he went 2 for 11. Yes, I know he hit a home run, but he went 2 for 11. Ryan O'Hearn is number 3 on the list.
Okay, then I went, I guess I went a little bit differently than with my down. I kind of struggled. The first 2 I felt were obvious. They were the 2 guys that lost the games this weekend. And then my number 3, I kind of wasn't entirely sure. I mean, that play was awful, yeah. But you know, I mean, my number 1 guy, you know, is what led them to that situation. Anyway, my number 3, I wasn't really. I didn't have a strong feeling of any single direction.
Did you make it? What's his face? The guy whose name I can't even think of.
No.
Wolfram. Wolf.
No, I did not put Wolfram on the list.
You could have. That would have been a.
Yeah, but who cares?
I understand, but he still pitched.
I want to not remember he exists.
I understand.
After this season. Ramon Laureano, I made my number 3. He had 1 hit all week. You
yeah,
know,
you say all week. It was 3 games.
Yes. He had
like
one,
that's part
one
of the
hit in
problem.
the three games. We're trying we want to see these guys build up their trade value, and Laureano had an ugly week. He struck out like 4 or 5 times. And then he got thrown out yesterday, and that was just kind of.
I mean,
it was just annoying to see that because he acts like that a lot when he strikes out, and it just seems and also he didn't know how many outs there were. I mean, like it was clear he thought there were 3 at that end of the inning.
I get it.
It was a very bad look, and Ramon Laureano struggled from the plate, so I went with Ramon Laureano, and you know, I didn't have a clear. To me, there wasn't a clear number 3.
The guy that threw the ball away is number 3. That's again, I get it. Gregory Soto to me is number 2.
The bases shouldn't have been loaded with.
I understand your argument. Gregory Soto to me is number 2, and you can say, hey, he didn't give up a run, dude. What? How? I'm gonna say it again. How? These are the types of things when
you throw him in the. I don't know. I never get mad at the guy. I never, maybe not never, but you know, it's hard for me to circle and get mad at the guy who comes in the S situation.
I understand it. It's just about this play. That's all it's about. It's just about this play. How? How can you be standing right? Avi Miller pulled the MLB 3D, and I'm it's gonna here I'll send it to you because it's gonna be part of my 3 Up and 3 Down. It's just comical. Like you just can't believe that. Like how does this happen?
Oh God, yeah, he's like ducking.
And the bases are loaded, so clearly. A ball like that, you're going to want to go to the plate. I understand you believe as the pitcher your job is to get the cover first base. Like, I understand that, but he's He's going to want to come home and get that runner, and you're running directly into his throwing lane. Directly into it.
Why do they have Ryan O'Hearn as an umpire?
He is dressed in... That is weird that he's wearing black in an umpire's.
You can also tell that they don't have the stick, because that's definitely not George Steinbrenner Field, is it? There's way more, too many seats, right?
I don't know. I didn't pay that much attention to it. But yeah, not great. So yes, he's my number 2, Gregory Soto.
Play the actual slow-mo of it as well. The
actual play.
Yeah, so people can
Courtesy
see. Oh, yeah, he is. I mean, that was just, I guess, a really late break from the mound, or he's got a...
Well, and at that point,
it was bad, yeah, but I blame Dominguez.
I understand blaming Dominguez.
Dominguez
understand
is my number 1. Started jumping.
But, again, you got a ground ball that should have gotten the out. That no runs should have scored, and instead 2 runs scored. That's the frustrating. There's no reason for any runs to have scored on that play other than this kind of nincompoopery.
It kind of goes with what Ryan
It's exactly what Ryan Ripken's talking about.
It seems like there's just a lapse of focus at any given point. The
baseball IQ appears to be very low. Absolutely, you want to get the runner coming. If you can turn a double play there, you talk about turning a double play. That was going to be very difficult to do on that ball. So it was clear that Gregory Soto is not looking at Ryan O'Hearn. It's so bizarre, man, that it just is yep, that's the Orioles. That's the Orioles. Soto's number 2.
Charlie Morton was my number 2. He was really bad Friday.
He's my number 1.
Sir Anthony Dominguez was my number 1. For just, imploding on
I
get it. A game they should have won on Saturday.
I get it, but they still should have won it until that.
Well, it was 2-2 once they finally took Dominguez out.
And
again, I know it's probably the 3 fastest guys in the league: Caballero, Chandler Simpson, and whoever. Kim. So they each easily are stealing base, and maybe it goes into the fact that there's not a catcher on the roster.
Yeah, that's
either.
part of the problem here too. Everybody's going to run.
But if the bullpen in the entire year wasn't letting guys take second before they even throw a pitch, whatever. Dominguez is my number 1.
I'm not trying to pretend like he was good. Don't get me wrong.
He was awful.
I'm not trying to pretend like he was good. It's just that play. I cannot escape from that. What is that? And my number 1 is Charlie Morton, who... Hey, trade value's up, huh?
Yeah, right.
Trade value's up. All right, 3 up for the week. Number 3, Jordan Westberg, 5 for 12, scored a couple of runs. He had the best weekend of any of the bats, so Jordan Westberg gets a spot on the list.
I was between him and Gunnar. I ended up going with Gunnar because he felt like he had the bigger hits, I guess. Namely, yesterday he had the 2-run double that felt like a really big. It feels like he's Gunnar Henderson again. So I like that extra base hits for Gunnar with guys on base. Gunnar Henderson number 3.
Trevor Rogers is number 2. He said he didn't think his stuff was very good, but the results were very good, and that's the only part that matters. Trevor Rogers, number 2.
You got that one right. Congrats.
Appreciate it. And obviously Dean Kramer's number 1, as he was out effing standing on Saturday night. And just a real
should have gotten a win.
Real shame how that all goes.
Got a feeling maybe when he pitches like that later in this season, he's going to be getting the win because he'll be wearing maybe a different uniform.
You've convinced yourself it's happening.
I have, yeah.
I am not.
I think I'm almost gonna be disappointed. I mean, I feel like they've got to get something. They've got to get something back for this.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. Honestly, I would be surprised. I would be very surprised if the Orioles trade Dean Kramer.
So then any guy that
but
is
I'm
not
always going to be surprised by something that isn't just this is the way that it works. My assumption is they're going to do the easy. They never do the extraordinary thing. They always do the easy thing. So I'm just going to assume they do the easy thing. The easy thing is just trade your pending free agents, get whatever you can get for them, and go from there.
So you don't think at this moment any guy with a non-expiring contract guy will be?
Yeah, I'd have to think about the qualification of that. Is there someone that I'm not thinking
how does
of?
Brian Baker factor into that?
Yeah, Brian Baker was a unique circumstance where it mattered that he was out of options, and so this is as good as we think we're going to do for him. Let's go ahead and move him. Is there somebody else that I'm not thinking of that isn't technically on an expiring I mean, technically Ramon Laureano is not on an expiring contract, right? Like, he does have a club option that would be logical to pick up for next year. As I said, if you want him to be your stopgap until Enrique Bradfield is ready to be, either way, either you want him as your left fielder, your center fielder until Enrique Bradfield is ready, there would be logic in that. So in a way, Laureano is an interesting one because, again, you could be trying to make a value play that his value is as high as it's going to be, so get everything that you can get for him now versus could he be beneficial to you next year when you don't seem to have an opening day. Like, when I say that, everybody says Colton Cowser can play center field. I get it, but I don't think Colton Cowser is your long-term center fielder, so I don't know that it behooves you.
Center field 1 year, left field the next, and then left field again.
I would just have him be your long-term left fielder, and he's got to be better, right? Like, he needs to be better than this. Defensively, he's a very good player, but he has to be better. He cannot be a sub-300 on-base percentage guy. So, yeah, is there somebody that fits that I'm just not thinking of? You know, I haven't gone through all the relievers. Is there another reliever? Like,
sure.
Could they try to could they max out on Keegan Aiken, right? Could there just be a team that loves Keegan Aiken and needs a loogie? And I don't know. I haven't thought through all of that. I would be surprised if they traded any of the guys that have real value that aren't free. I'd be surprised if they trade any of that group of three guys. Rogers, Kramer, Bautista. Which doesn't mean they can't. And again, apparently, according to Ken Rosenthal, they were listening to offers for Trevor Rogers and Felix Bautista. But unlikely to trade them. And that's what I think. I think they're unlikely to trade them. If somebody throws the kitchen sink at you, does that change your mind? It's a really complicated conversation to have.
The fact that they just, re-upped their, system with 4 top 37 picks, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much that matters. I think.
Well, they need pitching. Like they need pitching.
They desperately need pitching. So that's the question is. And everybody got worked up about the John Heyman thing because nobody's high on Mick Abel. But if you're offered multiple guys that you believe are starting pitchers within the next 3 years for Felix Bautista, is that ultimately better for your organization than having a high-level closer? I can't answer that question, man. I can't. I think there's a strong argument for it. Now, again, I would want to do better than Mick Abel. I agree with the consensus of Orioles fans, but part of that is because we're just used to these little numbers next to people's names, and these little numbers don't always mean anything. But I would want to do better than Mick Abel in return for Felix Bautista if I'm doing it. But all of this, it's layer after layer. All of this goes back to my premier question. What is your plan for the offseason? Is your plan to hope for the best, or is your plan to go make serious change? Because if it's go all in, if it's that, then I'm with it. Don't trade any of these guys. Money makes up that difference. But if it's not, my opinion changes about what you should be doing. I don't want to keep. You can read about it at PressBoxOnline.com too. Like, this is where I am with that conversation. It's complicated because I do think those guys could bring you returns that might be more valuable than what those players are going to do for you in the next couple of years if you're not going to surround them with the necessary talent to go try to win a World Series. I hope they are. I hope that's the case. All right, we've taken all our breaks, right?
Yes, we have.
Look at that. We can wind things down at a normal time today. This is a weird feeling.
Doing something wrong, I think, right?
We could talk about how Will Levis isn't going to play this season.
Just a bummer. Yeah.
Well, that's it. I guess the Titans aren't winning the Super Bowl.
Means I guess there's a greater chance we're going to see Desmond Ridder throwing a football this year than We're gonna see.
Is he back? Is he in Tennessee?
Yeah,
I didn't- I was
no,
not-
no. Cincinnati just picked him up as their backup.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. Or I mean, I guess would he be the backup or
Is
a
Jake
back-
Browning still there?
I want to say yes. I think the corresponding move, they like cut Logan Woodside and signed Desmond Ridder.
Okay. Okay.
Bengals QB depth chart. Let's see here.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, almost.
Okay.
We're getting there.
All
We're
right,
getting there.
I'm
Yeah,
just
Jake
waiting
Browning
for-
is still there.
Okay.
All right.
I would think Jake Browning would be your backup quarterback. I would think.
Yeah, but Desmond Ritter's on a roster.
And is a Cincinnati legend, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a Cincinnati
Maybe
guy.
Maybe this is what he needs.
The American Athletic Conference is rebranding.
Okay.
Navy's conference, now known as the American Conference.
So
Yeah.
just the American?
Just well, a lot of you they called
Is
it
there
the American
or like
the American Conference. They're just getting rid of athletic.
Okay, so it's the AC.
Yeah, it's no longer AAC. That's kind of what they want it. They don't ever want to be known as the AAC anymore. They want to be the American or the American Conference.
The American Conference.
I don't know, dog.
All right, sure. Right.
I mean, that's the problem.
Sure.
Everybody stylizes the names of conferences. So, like, I always say this. I say this about professional wrestlers. How easy is it going to be to find you if I search for you? So I put an American Athletic Conference, or I assume if you searched AAC, yes, the American Athletic Conference is the first thing that comes up. But if you search the American.
Is that like airlines?
The George Clooney 2010 picture comes up, and the fifth thing on a Google search is the American Athletic Conference.
The American League standings.
But it's also like an AC. If you search AC right now, believe it or not, you get a lot of air conditioners, and you don't get the American Conference.
I'm getting Anne Arundel Community College. That's what
for just AC.
Oh, just AC.
Just
Sorry.
AC.
I was doing AAC. Yeah. Okay.
You searched AAC and got Anne Arundel Community College?
I think maybe it must be. I mean, it's obviously taking into my.
The first three responses I got from
Location.
AAC were American Athletic Conference. The fourth was the American Apple Cup. No, sorry, American Alpine Cup. And then the fifth is the Augmentative and Alternative Communication. So later I find other things. But for the most part, it seemed to be that AAC was SEO optimized. The American, I guess if you specifically search American Conference, yeah, if you search that specifically, you do get the league. But that's the only of the three stylized ways that you can get that. So I would say this is not a good idea SEO wise. But I also don't care.
It will be.
Just go
What
win
do
the
you
league.
know?
That's all I care about. Just go win the league. That's all that matters is go win the league. I don't think there was much of it. The Whipsnakes got a big win.
Yeah, they got a
big
win. It looked ugly.
Yeah. They've been doing this a few times this year where they're falling behind and they just kind of look lethargic, but huge rally in the second half to beat the Water Dogs on Saturday night.
I think they jump into like the 3
Yeah, well,
seed?
everybody's like all jumbled. It's
because they had that one win of like 20 to like 5 or something.
Yeah, so they have a good.
They have the goal differential over everybody.
There you go. Yeah, it's a weird year.
Job Whips.
They're tied for third in the East though.
Okay.
They're still a game behind the Water Dogs, but they had to have it. They had to have that one, and they got it. So that's good. And I think that's it. I think that's all there.
We got the Atlas this weekend.
Obviously, a lot of stuff to say. You know me, I've got a lot to say about Scotty Scheffler.
Of course, yeah. And I know is that so? People are mad at Scotty. Is that what we're?
What are they
doing?
mad at him about?
That he's like not as fired up about golf or something.
Oh, his thing last week. Yeah, it was weird. It's just like, why did he even try? What is life all of like?
Is he Anthony Rendon? Is that what he?
Yeah, it was weird, but I mean, he clearly cares enough to go win and dominate. So good for Scotty Scheffler. I saw some people. This is the desperation that people have to try to make content out of something. I saw people trying to bang the drum of like, is Scotty Scheffler Tiger Woods? Like Scotty Scheffler's 30. He's the best player in the world right now, but Scotty Scheffler is not. Like Tiger Woods was doing this in his early to mid 20s, not at the end of his 20s. So no. Like I don't need to know golf to know that the answer to that question. It's gonna be a no for me, dog. But it is.
You never know.
Clearly, he's the best. There is no doubt who the best player in the world is currently. It's Scotty Scheffler. And Team Shell Shock still alive.
That's right.
Eeh.
Never in doubt either.
Yeah.
Both times.
Yeah, first game they were down. They get walk-off free throws in the Elam ending, and then second game
they were up by like
they're
20.
up by 20. It gets whittled all the way down to like 3, but they hold on in the Elam ending.
Marcel said, "Hold on, don't worry."
Yeah, Marcel came to life.
Diamond Stone, yeah.
Diamond Stone is the exact same enigma. He's just an enigma now that wants to shoot more.
He's making threes.
It's very frustrating to watch. And thankfully, who's the 3-point specialist from Coppin State?
Not Tark, the other one.
No, the other guy, the Aberisi or something like that.
Carisi,
what is it? That guy.
Yeah.
God, if they needed him. The story on Team Shell Shock is they don't have they don't have Melo Trimble. They really needed it. They don't have Eric Ayala, who would have been really helpful without Melo Trimble.
Kardashian?
Kardaki.
Cardaci. It's dash.
I think it's EC.
Cardassi?
I think it might be Cardisi.
Oh, okay.
Cardassi.
I'm gonna go Cardassi.
Okay, both of us will be wrong. But yeah, they've needed him. He has shot the ball really well for them. So they'll play again tomorrow. I don't remember the name of the team they're playing. It's not, I don't think, an alumni team.
Yeah, it's next level elite or something.
Yes, I believe that's correct. And maybe they can stay alive. They also haven't had Terrell Stoglin, who was kind of like it makes you chuckle to think like you were counting on Terrell Stoglin to be the guy, but would have been helpful with everybody you're missing.
Next Era Elite.
Next Era Elite is who they play in the regional final at James Madison to try to advance to the Sweet 16. Oh, no, this is the Sweet 16. They would try to advance to the final 8 of the basketball tournament. But they've won the 2 games. That part matters. All right, I think that's it. I think that's all I got from the weekend. Did you know Will Barton was playing in the Big 3 now?
Oh, really?
Found that out because he's playing for DMV Trilogy.
Nice.
And they got their first win this weekend in Will Barton's first game. So
nice.
I do not count them.
Barton?
God bless the Big 3. They were trying to push the idea that DMV Trilogy was the home team and that when they came to Baltimore, you're never going to this is what happens.
They had the Baltimore guys, though.
This is what happens. Now they've got a Baltimore guy. I get that.
Well, they had
DeJuan Summers.
Yeah.
This is what happens when people who aren't from here try to market to here. Is you think, well, Baltimore's in Maryland, DMV. This is what occurs. This is the way that it goes. It is not a thing, no matter how badly you want to make it a thing, no matter how much you scratch your head over why isn't it a thing, no matter how many people who aren't from here insist that there is some connective tissue between Baltimore and D.C., all you're saying is loudly, we don't know the area. We're not familiar. It's never going to work. I give the whip snakes are at least doing the bit that's most likely to work, which is call it Maryland, because we'll embrace things that are called Maryland, right? Like the University of Maryland is, as we've discussed many times with Drew Forrester, much closer to D.C. than it is to Baltimore. But it's called Maryland and has the Maryland state flag, which, we like. We're big fans of that, so we'll embrace it. The moment you try something else, the moment you're like, well, let's try nope. DMV is the Washington, D.C. area. That's what the DMV is. It's D.C. and their suburbs, which happen to be in 2 different states, so they needed an acronym to explain how the market included 2 states and a district. So they came up with DMV. And it makes sense for them. But it ain't got nothing to do with us. Not a thing. We have no association whatsoever with the DMV. Baltimore is not part of it. So, something else. Try something else. If you want to keep playing in Baltimore, then maybe rename the team the Maryland Trilogy and see. I don't think the Big 3 is going to succeed significantly with that, but good luck to them.
It might.
Now let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Hope that you were able to make it out for the UFC fights on Saturday night. Always the best place to watch all of the big fights is inside Live Casino and Hotel. And if you never, I've got my Live Casino and Hotel poker room hat on today. If you've never, it's an amazing operation, man, inside the Live Casino and Hotel poker room. I've never seen anything like it. It's an unbelievable place to be, and they keep those trains running. And there's always great events and opportunities for big, big winnings inside the poker room at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland.
So the Marlins had this one. So some guy that you may have heard of, Kyle Stowers, he became just the second player in Major League Baseball history to record at least 8 hits, 5 home runs, and 11 RBI in a 2-game span. So that was, of course, on the heels of Sunday.
Orioles could use a guy like him.
Yeah, they could. And then on Friday, he hit 2 more home runs in another big game for Kyle Stowers. So he became just the second player with 5 home runs, 11 RBI, and 8 hits in a 2-game span. The only other player to do this was in 1925, 2-game span by Ty Cobb. So Ty Cobb and Kyle Stowers, the only two to accomplish this feat. So that was an interesting one. Felt like we needed to share that one.
Fun.
Fun.
Thanks for the reminder.
And Masson shared this one yesterday as Felix Bautista went into the game. He is second on the list of most saves by an Oriole in their first 3 seasons with the Orioles.
Say that one more time.
He is second most saves in his first 3 seasons
with the Orioles. Okay.
Yes. There are 5. They showed the top 5. 5 guys have had at least 50 saves in their first
3 seasons.
Yeah.
Greg Olson.
Greg Olson is who Felix passed about a couple weeks ago. 64 for Greg Olson.
First 3 seasons.
Yeah. Felix is at 67.
Now, this 3 seasons as closer or 3 seasons as an Oriole?
First 3 seasons as an Oriole.
So Zach Britton would not be on this list because he was not a closer. I would also. Boy, this is tough now. That qualification.
The number 1 guy.
Only 2 seasons, so it's Randy Myers.
Randy Myers had 76 saves in 2 seasons.
That's where I was headed, but.
And so Felix can get 9 more. If he can get 10 more saves, he'll pass Randy Myers before the end of the year.
But not if you trade him first.
Yeah, no.
This is the part. I don't know that Jim Johnson could be on this list because he didn't settle into the closer role for a few years. This is a really. How about Chris Ray?
Not Chris Ray.
I'm trying to think of guys that became closer quickly. Tippy?
Not Tippy. A little too far back.
I
believe both guys. Yeah, both guys on this side of the millennium.
Both guys are on this side of the millennium. Wow. So who did they sign to be a closer? Yuck.
So one guy did come up with the Orioles. Yeah, he played his first 4 seasons.
George Sherrill?
That was not the one I was
because
giving
he's
you,
the one
yeah,
that,
George Sherrill. But George Sherrill's on the list. 51 saves.
I get. Was George Sherrill in the majors with Seattle? I don't know. The other guys came up with the Orioles.
Or at least debuted. I guess I shouldn't say that.
Debuted with
the
Orioles.
But yeah. Sherrill played 4 seasons with Seattle.
B.J. Ryan?
Not B.J. Ryan.
Jorge Julio?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. Jorge Julio from 2001 to 2004, 3.
Yeah, that's a time period in Orioles history that we would
61 saves for Jorge Julio.
Kind of like to
for
forget
Sherrill.
ever occurred.
Those are your immediate impact closers as Orioles. Randy Myers, number 1.
Yeah, Randy Myers was an obvious one because they were really good.
Felix, number 2. The Otter, number 3.
All right, very good. Let's get tubular.
Okay, everybody, it's going to be quick today.
What was the main focus today, Coach?
Fundamentals, ball control. It's always huge.
Any early thoughts on the competition this year?
Well, look, this is the best of the best players in the world. It's going to be an amazing tournament.
Tournament?
Yeah, the BMW Championship at Caves Valley. What are you guys talking about? All they ever ask me about is football.
Here's what's coming up tonight. Orioles Guardians, 6:40 on Masson 2. Tomo Sagano, Tanner Bybee, the pitching matchup there. Masson's got Reds National, 6:45. MLB Network for Royals Cubs at 8:05. Did we have an update on where we are in the soccer competition?
I meant to do that last night.
Have you not done that?
Escaped my mind.
All right, you need to do that. There's 2 matches tonight in the Copa. Argentina, Peru at 5 o'clock. Chile, Ecuador at 8 o'clock, both on FS1. We need an update after that. The basketball tournament on FS2 and YouTube. The City Open down in D.C. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to get down there this week, unfortunately, but it's a bummer for me. Tennis Channel for that, and Netflix tonight for WWE Monday Night Raw at 8. Some non-sports highlights?
Yeah, it's like I don't know what, they're like treating it like a Friday almost. There's a bunch of stuff. It's a Shark Week, Discovery Channel Shark Week, all week.
Is there another Shark Week?
There was like a Nat Geo one,
What?
like 2 weeks ago or something.
Who's ripping off Shark Week?
And now it's Discovery Channel Shark Week. So
Okay.
it's a bunch of Shark Week specials on Discovery Channel all day.
God, I swear to God, I don't remember who it was, but somebody in my life, I brought up I made a vague reference to it being that time of the month for Mrs. Clark once, and he said back, "Oh, it's Shark Week." I don't know why, but it made me laugh so much
Who said
that I have never. I wish I could tell you who it was. John Colson thinks it's a bad joke. It's not a bad joke. You made that joke?
Oh.
Who? I don't know. Did you start? I don't know where. I've never stopped laughing at it. No, I would never say it to my wife. I assure you. I would never do that. But it's a hilarious joke.
I made the mistake of saying it to the former
Mrs. Colson.
Mrs. Colson.
Yeah.
And she did not.
Not wise.
That might have been. That was like 10, 15 years ago, and it might have been the
beginning of the end. I would never say it to Mrs. Clark.
It was not funny.
But my God, I don't know.
Great.
It's a great joke, man.
Yeah.
It is. It's got everything. Thank you. That's Dynamite. John Colson was next door taping a special, and so he just wandered in. Look forward to seeing that at the holidays. He's taping our big Labor Day programming right now is what he's working on.
We've got The Hunting Wives on Netflix. So
wives that go hunting?
Yeah, but they do other stuff. They're in Texas. An East Coast transplant, Brittany Snow, who's from Pitch Perfect. She's from Boston, actually, and she comes to East Texas, and then she's charmed by some other, like,
this is not
housewife.
a documentary. This is a...
Yeah, it's like a TV show. It's like, and then she soon finds her life consumed by obsession, seduction, and murder.
I don't think I'm gonna make it.
It looks
for
well
that
done.
one.
I'm sure. The thing is,
I've watched a lot of stuff in the last week while you've been gone.
Because there's like 3 things today, and I feel like they're all either going to be completely wiped under the carpet, or I feel like, that one of these is going to be like something people are like, oh, this is great. Justice on Trial on Prime Video. Judge Judy puts the American justice system on trial in a true crime, high-stakes courtroom drama. So she and her expert legal team are recreating trials.
To see if they got it right or not?
From notorious... Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's going to be a no. It's going to be a no for me,
The
dog.
letter of the law did not necessarily feel just. See if they got everything right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's on Prime Video.
Sure.
And then Trophy Wife, Murder on Safari is on Hulu. Exposes the life and crimes of Larry Rudolph, who was a dentist and big game hunter, and then he was forced to choose between his wife of 34 years and his longtime mistress, and then I think his wife got killed or something on the safari, and I guess it
see.
He was
so he
trying
made,
to
he made his choice. You're saying?
Yeah. So that's on Hulu.
Okay. I don't know.
Fallon's gonna have Adam Sandler, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jesse Murph tonight.
Gonna be a no for me, dog. But they're plugging Hunting Wives. I think.
Oh, they really?
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Good for them. Sandra Oh and Dave Franco on Stephen Colbert.
Yes, plugging Fantastic Four.
Really, those?
Yeah.
That's weird because Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Eben Moss-Backrack, and Joseph Quinn are all going to be on Kimmel tonight.
Well, they're plugging Scotty Scheffler.
They are?
That's
they're just big golf fans.
They do it
all
together. Yeah, all of them together.
All
they
four of them
they talk about how much they like Scotty Scheffler.
All right, got it.
By the way, I'm pretty sure I saw that Paul Walter Hauser is also in that movie. That dude is in every motion picture.
He's on one of he's doing the runs tonight this week.
He's also in something else that either came out that guy.
He's in.
It's unbelievable.
It's called Americana. I think.
That wasn't what I was thinking of.
I gotta find
Paul Walter Hauser is in.
Oh, Naked Gun.
Yes, he's definitely in Naked Gun. I remember seeing him in the trailer, and he's in the Fantastic Four. He plays Mole Man in the Fantastic Four.
Spoilers! I didn't want to know he was in Fantastic.
He's apparently
Four.
in the Bruce Springsteen movie.
Oh wow!
This guy.
The year of Paul Walter Hauser.
Every year is the year of Paul Walter Hauser. He's in everything. I tweeted that one time. Like I tweeted out his when Richard Jewell was coming out. I was like, who is this guy? And I looked him up and I saw his
he's
filmography.
Also, like, big into wrestling, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very involved in pro wrestling. And he's been in everything. Like, he's just somehow in everything you've watched. I happened to watch The Luckiest Man in America last week, which is the movie they made about. He was the star of this one. It's the movie they made about. It was him and Walton Goggins. So,
favorites.
It's the movie they made about the guy that figured out how to cheat on Press Your Luck and won like $100,000. They made a movie about it with Paul Walter Hauser and Walton Goggins, and I watched that. I watched the first Billy Joel show on HBO. I think that's is that a two-parter or is that like a
yeah,
longer?
it is.
But part 1 was 2.5 hours. Like
the second part's this week.
Okay, so I watched that. I watched the Questlove's Sly Stone documentary, and I watched something else too. I watched the Jim Abbott thing, dude. The Jim Abbott E60. Oh my God, man! Like that, you will. And I got no personal connection to Jim Abbott. Never played for our team. My God, man, that will make you truly emotional watching the Jim Abbott thing. That is spectacular. So yeah, I watched some
the
stuff.
other thing Paul Walter Hauser is in is a movie called Americana that comes out next month, and it's with Sydney Sweeney and a few other Halsey's in it. It's like a
guy,
it's like a big cast.
Halsey, like
Halsey's
okay, sure.
It's like a western. It's like a modern western somehow, kind of, but yeah.
This guy, man, Paul Walter Hauser's in everything.
But
bro.
like him and Sydney Sweeney are like the two title characters. Yeah, it's like
good for him, man. Good for him. All right. Thanks today to Ryan Ripken. We'll get that and Jeremy Conn and 3 Up and 3 Down, all up in the greatest hits section of the.
I don't know. Galveston.
Wow.
Is that what we're doing?
Maybe work on
tab,
maybe
right?
work on that. Maybe work on something else. At GlennClarkRadio.com. It's run its course. It's time for something else. Tomorrow.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Tuesday things.
Great. Thanks to everybody at Pressbox.
Talk about an Orioles win.
Glad the producer's back. Glad. You know, it's weird. Last week I was producing the show. All right. Thanks everybody at Pressbox. All of our great sponsors and partners, including Game Day Men's Health, Live Casino and Hotel, BMW Championship, Crown Trophy, Easy Pass, Baltimore's Classic 5 Golf Courses, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Costas Inn, Maryland Sports, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Monday evening. Go Birds, sure. Duke sucks.